Okay, so here's my interpretation of life in a nutshell, pretty much by coloring. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things and use a lot of metaphors. So here we go. In the middle, we have the whitest bright light that you can see. And when I was making these circles, I used the white. You can see it everywhere. As a reference, I also used the white to connect each one. I also used it to, go ahead and circle out or sketch out the circles. Then I got a cream color, which I used all around. Wait, is that one? Yeah, right here. That same cream color was used in all the circles. The pigments or colors started coming in right here, but it was still very light. As the pigments started getting darker and more dense, you can see how this relates to belief systems and how we have certain beliefs based on our realities. So we have the red reality, where in this little world, everything is red. Everything they see in the world is red. You can't deny it. Orange can come over here and say, no, everything is orange. And red's going to be like, no, everything is red. And argue about which reality it is. But really, red is going to see red and orange is going to see orange. But here's the other thing. It's also going to see the lighter shades of red along with the darker shades of red. So you're going to get the light and the dark. And then as you uncover the pigment, you see that the light is also within each of these circles, right? So as you dig and look at belief systems and patterns and try to understand what they actually mean, you start uncovering the density. You start getting lighter, understanding that there's many colors / dimensions / realities, whatever you want to call it, worlds, that exist all at the same time. And so this is basically the mindset of not so much darkness, right? It's lighter. So it's not as heavy. It's a lighter weight. As you move along and you start mixing the two, you create this, and these are all belief systems, right? So they believe they're blue. Everything in their world is blue. As they uncover stuff, they get lighter and lighter and lighter and realize that really, when you do this with all of them, they're all made from the same thing. They all carry the same thing. And with tons of belief systems that others have told them along the way, this pigment of color that has been placed, has gotten darker and darker, lighter and lighter, depending on where they want to go. And then you see, I did a little yin-yang thing there to show that these people / whatever you want to call it, they're people for me right now. They've been seeing red over here. They're like, in the distance, I think I see red. And then in the distance, I think I see blue. And you have these little people in this little world where they believe that, this is their truth, and they believe this is their truth. And in the mix of it, you have some people that start going, I think there is some red. And some people over here say, I really think there is some blue to this. Not knowing that they're both right. Not knowing that there is some blue and there is some red, but there's also orange and yellow and green, and there's so much in between. And some people get stuck on their realities. Sorry about that. They get stuck on their realities thinking that, this is the ultimate truth, and not knowing that there's so much to uncover, so much to look into. So here's how we get into mindset. What does this have to do with mindset and beliefs? Well, if you are over here and your mindset is just totally dead on thinking everything is orange and that is true, how will you ever be able to associate with red? How will you be able to associate, I'm so sorry, be able to associate with yellow? How are you going to be able to associate with green if you don't see the connection that everyone has, right? Whether that's race, whether that's labels that are put on things, when really if you just take the partitions off, you see that the more you unite, the more you realize that you're all the same. So when you're trying to understand somebody's mindset, for example, counseling, I try to understand orange and I try to understand red. So I will look into everything that has to do with orange so that I can be aware of what orange is talking about, so that I can help them see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel that's going to lead them to not feeling so dense and so heavy and so in the dark of what's going on. You know, and you have these who are like, well, I can't get along with these because they just don't have the same beliefs as I do. And this is the thing, the more you uncover about yourself, and the more you uncover about yourself, the more you see the closeness and the things that do make sense, the things that we do have in common, the things that bring us together. This is unconditional love. You know, we have so many stories. We have religions. We have cosmology, mythology. We have psychology. We have entertainment and what media tells you. You have what government supposedly tells you. All of this is out here. All of it. And the more you start uncovering yourself and not really trying to prove, you know, one or the other, the duality, but you start to uncover your own pigments, that's when you start seeing the whole scope of things. And then when you talk to orange, you can relate because you have things in common and you've already seen that. You've uncovered beliefs that don't serve you, that you're letting go of because, you know, that just feels heavy. That relationship is too much for me. I feel a lot lighter and better when I'm over here without this relationship, without this friendship, without this job, without whatever it is that's making you feel heavier. So as you let go of things that you no longer need in life, you start realizing that these things don't have control over you, that really you have control over you, and that if you stay centered and balanced and within you, you can still, you know, talk to, associate, and understand other things, but one second. You can understand other things, but you cannot, my daughter's calling. Hold on one second. Okay, the more you understand how this person relates or their beliefs, or because you've looked into all of this and understood it and had clarity and saw that it's all an illusion, then the more you can relate and the more you can try to really just live here and improve your own self so that you have more of that understanding of life, that mindset of, you know, we're all one. So that's my take on colors and life and beliefs and mindset, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed.